Hello and welcome to One on One. I'm Vernon Ramazan. I have to say today we are honored to have a gentleman well known to everyone, King David Michael Rudder. David, welcome back to the program. It's been a while.
It's good to be back.
It's a sign that Carnival is upon us, though.
Yes.
Even though you're in and out throughout the year, I get to see you at Carnival time.
I'm already tired.
Are you really? Well, let's talk about that. You're going to be 61, I think, in May, aren't you?
Yeah.
You celebrated 60 last year with a spectacular concert.
And I'm going to have a repeat concert.
Are you as well?
On the 24th of May.
So a little after your birthday.
Yeah, just a little after.
Which is the 6th, I believe.
6.1 this time.
David Rudder 6.1. David 6.1. At this stage in your career, it must be interesting for you because, I mean, you don't have anything to prove anymore. So there's that stress off your back.
Yeah.
But yet you're still creative and you want to express it.
Yeah, it's flowing, so I can't stay inside there and calcify. I have to release it, So.
And I think one of the great things that you've done is that you've become active on social networking, certainly on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can show your patriotism. Once cricket is on, we get a blow by blow from you on Facebook. And we get to see your new releases fairly quickly as well.
Yes. I try. I mean, I was brought kicking and screaming to Facebook by my big sons, but I see the importance of it in terms of connecting with people, and I try to use my page as a online calypso tent, so you get a little bit of humor, social commentary, heavy political,
Well, even to the point when you landed this time, you had a little funny story to tell about coming in from the airport and running into somebody.
Yes.
It sort of makes Trini life come alive through your eyes.
Yeah, I try to make Trini life come alive. Yeah.
I guess it's interesting because, I mean, I don't think even you would deny that you are seen as a cultural icon in Trinidad and Tobago, which you richly earned after decades of work. But you also want to be connected with your audiences as well.
Yes.
And not in a kind of through a PR agency kind of way.
Right.
You want to be directly connected.
Yeah, and people feel the way my brain operates, I tend to sort of drift away. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people feel that I'm sort of like standoffish or so, but it's like I really don't see people.
You're also kind of shy, actually.
And so therefore, I think in social networking areas, people can be able to see me, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or what have you. Oh, that's how he really is. Yeah.
I mean, I've known you for decades as well, I guess, and I'm never entirely sure what the real David Rudder is, because there's a David Rudder like now, there's a David Rudder when you were sitting outside waiting to come into the studio, and then there's the incredible David Rudder when you get on the stage, where you transform into a totally different person.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it should be that way. I think some people tend to not be able to have a demarcation point of this is where this ends and this begins, They try to live their life.
To bring up a song of recent vintage that you were involved in.
Totally, on one level, but I give what I have on stage because that's my gift.
But is that really you as well, though?
Yes, definitely.
So even though normally 99% of the time you're shy, David,
the stage is the most comfortable place for me. So when I step on it, I just take my existence to another level,
Now, in terms of the work that you're doing now, I know I've seen you do some interviews where people ask you, what have you been doing since, and they'll mention Hammer or Bahia Girl or something, as if you vanished somewhere into the ether.
It's a strange thing. It's like this year, I released 3 songs.
Right. I love one of them is Small Dancing, which I love.
And people may or may not hear them, and then they'll say, you don't do music, you don't have a record again. And say, well, yeah, I did one last year, I did this one. I think people lock into to what they remember, a period in their life. Like people say, when I remember when the Carnival with Bahia Girl, I was doing this. Mm-hmm. It was like one of those moments like, what were you doing when 9/11 happened, or when they shot Kennedy or something?
Right.
So people kind of lock into these things, and it's almost like I've done hundreds of songs, and I'm still very surprised when people say, well, so I know it's this one. It's like that's what somehow it affected their lives, and that's it.
And I guess in some levels on national life, like 1990, took on a new meaning after the fact.
It's like that. I did that in 10 and everyone sat and listened to me. And then after July 27th, suddenly that became the anthem of the nation, the dark anthem. So.
And you also have the Caribbean anthem, of course, as well for cricket. So, I mean, that's 2 feathers in your hat right there. So I guess people are really reflecting themselves when they say, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
It's basically their lives had a high point at the same time as one of David Rudder's songs.
Yeah. And then there's also an element where in modern Trinidad society, we don't have the intellectual commentators as before. Like, to me, High Mass would have probably been a dead song had Keith Smith not written about it. And people said, let's hear this song that Keith talked about, or Wayne Brown. So all these guys have left us. So there's not much people around who can take a David Rudder album and say, this is what I'm seeing in it, and people read about it, and then they go into it. So there's a whole lot of elements that.
So our society has changed.
There's that connection is no longer there. So it's just to keep doing the music and keep being on stage and keep do what you can do, you know.
And to a certain extent, I mean, I know you're an artist and you necessarily would keep up with the times if you felt like you needed to keep up with the times.
Right.
But you hold on to a certain kind of sweetness and purity in your music, don't
Yeah.
you? I mean, even Smalley Dancing is, you can tell it's a David Rudder composition.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is that, like, a song like that, you go to YouTube and you see, you don't see any dislikes. It's that has that sweetness about it, but
and lyrical content.
Yeah, but the exposure to the wider society is where things fall apart, and that to me is just sad, you know.
Well, yeah, but I think, haven't you said, David, that in fact you're not surprised because music reflects society?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's just sad that it's coming.
When people ask you, well, why don't we hear the nice music we used to hear, and you say, well, possibly because you're older.
Yeah.
But also because our society just.
Yeah,
is reflecting.
It has to reflect what's going on. Yeah.
And our society is a society in disorder that wants immediate gratification and doesn't want to think too much.
Yeah, I mean, just today alone, I've been driving through Port of Spain, and the amount of people behind me were just on their horns, and I said, "But am I doing something wrong?" And to me, I'm driving normal, but
you're driving Canadian normal.
I'm driving too slow. Yeah, you know. That wasn't true. We used to say when you go to New York, you used to get that, but you know.
Because it used to be any time is any time.
Yeah.
And that was reflected in everything you did. We're a little late for everything.
I think people are just generally reacting to how the society is kind of cracking up, and there's an anger. There's an anger there, you know.
And there's a need for escapism as well.
Yeah.
And a need to. Well, I mean, not a need, but certainly a desire to avoid self-reflection at any cost.
Yeah. They don't want to do that at all. No.
Well, that's kind of depressing, isn't it?
Yeah. So I make some music to try to. I wrote a song called "Broken Hearts."
Yeah,
which is really was made to take people out of the depression. Say, listen, hey, it is what it is. Come out and take a little prance, chip a little bit.
It's a chipping song, yeah.
You know, say no more problems. Problems gone. You know, no more drama. Let me just have, you know. It's so, you know. Hopefully, it touches people. But
again, you got the problem there where you don't know if it's just the converted who recognize your message and the others just block their ears to hearing that kind of music.
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that you had such tremendous commercial success, I mean, you're still commercially successful in many parts of the world and here at home and whatever you do, but when you had that really high period with High Mass and before that, wasn't that then that the times were in sync with your creative view, do you think?
Yes, definitely. And you either have to choose to dumb down,
which you never have.
Which I can't. So
I'll give you that.
The departure point is where I had to maintain and try to say, how can I be better? And hope that at some point in time the loop comes back to those things that I have done that are better. You know, or I could say, well, let me go for what's going on out there and compromise and which is like a lie. It's like me wearing a 3/4 pants and a baseball cap and a gold chain, you know?
Right.
People will say, what are you trying? You know, because it's a lie. They can see it, you know? So I chose the path less traveled, you know?
Would you say that calypso, as a pure form, is on the demise, or has it already died?
It's dead long time. It's been dead. Even
soca has completely...
Last year, it was strange to see Pink Panther coming on the stage with a coffin. Mm-hmm. When he won, he was last year's Calypso Monarch, singing to virtually an empty savannah, and he came on stage with a coffin. To me, that was like perfect metaphor, because what has happened is I remember when in the early days of the tent, when I used to sing chorus, they used to have men called the benchmen. And the benchman would be on the bench every night, waiting until a night Duke might call and say he can't make it tonight. And they'll say, are you going on? And the benchman is honing his song so that by the time he hits the stage, that is his chance to stop being a benchman. So he's going to
like baseball or something like that.
Perfect. Yeah. He's going to work hard on the song. Today you find that because of the largesse, you don't have to write a good song. You know your salary guaranteed in the tent because you know you're getting some funds anyway. So the quality of the work is poor. Other than that, because of the internet, because of the way the world is so connected now, the stories that a calypso used to tell is told on Facebook and
so all the
YouTube,
mobile lang and things
all
like
the
that.
mobile lang. So you have to find a way to be so different. That's the challenge, but nobody wants to take the challenge because it's about resignation or just doing what you're accustomed doing, whose time this time has passed for this kind of work, you know.
It's about
so all these elements are put together is towards the demise of what we know.
And we saw the parallel rise of soca.
Yeah.
I guess the angry younger brother of calypso.
Well, I mean, soca was always. You see, that's the next thing too. Soca, was always the same calypso, just done with a different rhythm.
A more driving rhythm.
Right, and most driving because we listen to a lot of soul music.
Right.
This soul calypso was what we call it, and then they took the first two letters of the word soul, and the two letters of the calypso, and that's how we got the word soca. But the youngsters now grew up with listen to different music. So they come and they create a song, which is a different song to soca, but they call it soca. So now what was soca? Like Bahia Gil is a soca song.
Right.
But Bahia Gil is now called a calypso because it doesn't fit into the genre.
Wouldn't Trinity the Bone would be a
soca?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trinity the Bone is soca. So, and the interesting thing is that up to today, the only songs that are really successful are the ones that have some social commentary value to them. Like, I mean, in this year, there's a little guy from Grenada called Mr. Killer, where he said he wanted a roly-poly girl. And suddenly there's this whole issue about big women start to feel like, this is we time now. You know, since I come here, you know, there's a certain,
right.
You know. And I think I wrote something about it on Facebook about, you know, like these women who went in a fete and they sit down whole night. And it's only when roly-poly come on, they come on and start to dance. And as the tune finished, they sit down again. So what does that say about how these women feel? You know, people call you bubble-ups and this and that and the other. You know, maybe that might, you know, what? Let's talk about that.
Right, so
it's
conversation.
It become a conversation. So that now is social commentary. You know, like last year, my favorite song, Bungie, Differentology. Everybody fetting with somebody, cool credit and tainted money. So he's basically saying, look, there are people who are doing illegals, who are rich because they let the cocaine pass or what have you. So, but all at this time in our life, we all come together, even the people with cool credit and those with tainted money. So, you know, even inside the songs that succeed, there's some element of social comment. The ones that just wine and a boom boom or what have you, they just
jump and wave.
They just don't exist on Ash Wednesday, right?
Well, differentology had legs, though, didn't it?
Yeah, it has legs, right? Because and all these songs that have legs are the ones that have some kind of value in them.
A little substance.
You know.
It must have been interesting for you to watch what's happening with Bungie, though, because you've had similar experiences as well, where you had a movie pick up your music.
Yeah.
Wild Orchid, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was just watching it the other day, just to hear your music at the end. When you see what's happening with him, do you think the times are different and more conducive to?
The times are more conducive because of other people. I worry still because I know the society. And what happens is that they hold on to your shirt tail. And if you don't succeed at some point in time, the same people might turn around in public and if I will, why the hostility? And then they realize, wait, you didn't take the country into the international.
So you faltered and now you're a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. So what has happened now is that within the structure of popular music, there are people outside of Trinidad who recognize the music and trying their best to slot the music in, whether it's Soul Train or MTV or what have you. So they're doing the work for us. Because we just feel that when we have music, and how come the Jamaicans more famous? They don't see the hard work that goes into producing, that sort of thing. They just expect it to happen, and once you see it happen, I call it the phenomena people. Once you see it get into a movie or something, they suddenly come out of the woodwork like as an international rainfall on you. They grow wings, like a rain fly, It's like the kind of, and then they're gone back in after it happened, because at the end of the day, did you buy the record? Did you support it? How much records we selling? So these people can see that they have a reason for.
But the other thing with the younger generation, they think, in your business, it's a business. It's about making money selling records or CDs or whatever, digital downloads.
Yeah.
But to a lot of young people, just clicking the like button and then downloading your music illegally is fine.
It's not a big deal, So
but I support David because I liked him on Facebook.
And there are people who don't like you again because they might do something that they say, me and like you again. Well, if it's so shallow, then you never like me.
Actually, there's another local celebrity who's on Facebook. I will remain nameless right now. But something had happened, very minor. And I was looking at the Facebook reaction, and everybody's like, oh, good for you, whatever, the challenges, life, whatever. And some people are like, I'm unliking you because I can't like you anymore.
Right.
And I'm thinking, do you think this is a celebrity cares if you like, unlike,
It's just a different world, but it works, it could work in a sense where, like, there was the Iggy Awards where people could go and vote, but the good thing about it is they could vote free. So they don't have to do much, they don't have to pay 99 cents a vote. They could just vote free, and I think there was a tremendous support for that. So the internet has allowed, while it's taken away some, it has also allowed space for others to hear you, and you can find ways to utilize that exposure in different, But
it means there's also a lot of cultural clutter and a lot of slackers who aren't very good also cluttering up
everything's
the
going,
space. That's the nature of the internet.
Yeah.
In terms of the generational differences, David, I have to ask you, do you find that at your concerts now, ignoring the ones in New York and Toronto, the ones that you do here, do you find it's an older crowd that's coming?
Older crowd, but hear what?
I'm not talking about the quality of the crowd.
No,
but just the
I'm
age.
saying I was surprised to see so many teenagers were there, and I realized it's a lot of people who, because they grew up listening to my music, their children grew up, or their grands grew up, and then suddenly there's also an element where people are looking for more organic feel, and you find a lot of the youth going back to vinyl and for that sound, and
but also you're being discovered for the first time.
And discovered for the first time, so it's like, how are you didn't know this was happening all the time? So you find the whole different set of elements bringing younger people out too, Well,
even young people can't ignore the fact that wherever there's cricket, there will be rally around the West Indies. And wherever any political party can get any mileage in this country, they're going to try and sneak in Ganges in the dial. Much to your colossal consternation, and the fact that you specifically make fun of that in the song. But they always leave out that line.
They leave it out,
Tricky politicians. So, but does that mark a change in how the musical art form is viewed in Trinidad and Tobago? We'll say, okay, that calypso is perhaps dead or about morbid at least, and that soca, what we call soca, has taken over. But in days gone by, somebody like a Sparrow or a Kitchener, they had multi-generational support all the way through their careers.
Yeah, because once you create
You're
good
only
music,
60.
Once you create good music, there will always be a line of support and a new set of people coming into people who are searching for something else and something rich, and it might come across one day inside the clutter, and you say, wait, where did this come from? And they said, let me follow this and see where it's going. So a lot of people who have come on to love my music are people who accidentally come onto it and say, but I didn't know all this was happening all the time,
How do you best yourself, or do you bother to best yourself? When you write like Smalley Dancing, I don't think you're comparing that, I imagine, with High Mass or anything you've ever written before. It's just what you feel like expressing now.
I this little guy, and one of the things that has really bothered me about this new genre called the pan tune is that they all sound the same. You can't remember the day after Panorama. You can't remember what it is. Before it used to be like Pan on the Move, Pan on the Run, I Music, you know, you remember those songs. Now most of it is very generic. And the other thing is that there's it's about pan this, pan in my bedroom, pan on the road, pan in this, pan on that. And I say, but it doesn't necessarily mean Krishna might write B's melody, and you feel you want to play B's melody on the pan. But people are not writing about the people who make the music and make the life of Panorama happen again. You know, I wrote about Rudolph Charles, right? Now, on the other end of the arc, now there's a little guy who's always on the western side of the stage in Panorama. He's there every single year. He has a little slight hunch, and he's dancing to every band that comes on stage, every single band. And when Panorama finishes, he disappears. And next Panorama, next year, you see him back on
again.
stage. He's like the official. You know, the day you don't see that guy, something has gone from the Panorama. And I feel that we must write about the people who make the music, the people who are part of giving the music a kind of spirit. And he is one of them. So I wrote this song about him. His name is Michael Geriandi. Everybody calls him Smalley. So I said, look, if I go to Savannah and I don't see Smalley dancing, something missing. So it's like a nobody. It's like writing about nobody, but that nobody is somebody.
But the sad thing about that, David, before we started the interview, I told you I really enjoyed Smalley dancing, and to me it was like the perfect pan tune.
Yeah.
And you said, not now it isn't, because it's not the kind of music they would pick.
Yeah.
And that means, unfortunately, Smalley in the Savannah won't hear his song being played on the pan.
No, but he, you know what? I wanted to say to him, I recognize you. You see? Because people pass through this life and they do things and...
They're just little people.
Yeah, they're just little people. And I want to say, you know what? You big. You big and you're big forever. You know? That is what it is about, really.
We only have a few minutes left, David. What are your big events this year? Obviously, this weekend you'll be in Prestige.
Yes, I'll be down Santa Ana Prestige.
That's my former alma mater, yeah.
I have a series of shows at the Hyatt. I also have some unplugged shows there too. I'm at Lime.
People are going to say David's gone very bougie now. He's performing at the Hyatt.
No, it's where you know people always say things like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but things will say, yeah. Are they paying you like this?
Where I'm high? Who high? I'll sing anywhere, you know. So I have I'm playing doing things at Wassa and the I think the Hall of Justice has something, and so I'm all over the place.
So whoever has common sense to realize that David Rudder's in Trinidad and
I'm
can
in
be
Trinidad
hired.
and I'm all over. I'm high, and you know I'm open to be hired anywhere, you know.
Well, did you find that it's stranger and stranger? I know I ask you every time, but as you get off the plane from Toronto, where your family is based, and you come back to Trinidad, does it change a little bit every few months you come back?
Every time, and that's why I could read Trinidad better than most people, because
you have the distance and perspective.
I always say it's like, you know, when we go to school, we used to draw these little stick men on the ends of our textbooks, and we would slide and make a mini cartoon. So every time I come back, every month I come back here, I look at the society and see the little changes. You know, like I can see where it has become vicious, as it wasn't like that 6 months ago. And then I could kind of work out, well, these events happened in these times, and I could see where people could be more jumpy and displaying their anger and frustration in a different way, you know. So it's very interesting the way things run.
Do you think we're getting to be an uglier society?
Oh, definitely.
Because
definitely.
I mean, I've noticed myself recently, because we've had a few disturbances in East Port of Spain and in Ibiza.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing people calling into programs and referring to those people.
Yeah.
And these
but I'll
people.
tell you something, the anger and rage and thing is coming from more what we call the better classes in society. On the ground, people just kind of confused and know they're trying to. They still have the love, but they just don't know what to do, and they get in the stick more than anybody else, you know. And that is a part of element I recognize too, because when they reach the street, King, what happening? Reds, what happening? Reds, they fighting love, you know, and they still have that down there, but. You step in your car and an SUV pass and watch you say, where you coming out? You think, you know, you kind of like better brakes for your tail.
So basically, we're like a confused society that's becoming more and more sort of polarized.
Yeah.
That can't be good.
No, it can't be, no. And I don't know It hasn't reached that's the thing about Trinidad. Like this is one society that doesn't understand the concept of a bottom. We are bottomless. So when you feel,
dig deeper and
you
deeper
can't-
holes
you
for
can't say,
ourselves.
nah, it had to hit rock bottom. No, we don't have the concept of rock bottom here. So we always keep just going, and you're kind of saying, but
You've got me so
what a
depressed
place,
now,
yeah.
David. I don't know what to say. You're getting like on a plane after Carnival for at least a little bit. Well, David, we're completely out of time. I just can never thank you enough whenever you come on the show. It's a real honor to have you on, and you know I'm one of your huge fans. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful Carnival and
Thank
the
you
Prestige
very
Fair
much.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
All right.
David. You've been watching One on One. Join us again tomorrow for another edition.